The boardroom fell silent as the millionaire laughed, sliding a foreign document across the table. "Translate this," he sneered, "and my salary is yours." Everyone chuckled, except the maid. Her trembling hands lifted the paper, and what she said next made his laughter die in his throat. The laughter echoed against the glass walls of the high-rise boardroom, sharp and dismissive. The maid stood frozen, her crisp blue uniform trembling slightly as she clutched a tray of coffee cups. The millionaire at the head of the table, Gregory Langston, smirked as he waved a document in front of her. It was written in foreign script, bold and indecipherable to everyone else in the room. "Translate this," he said, leaning back in his leather chair, "and my salary is yours." His words sliced through the air like a challenge dressed in mockery. The executives around the table laughed politely, some with discomfort, others with approval. But the maid, her name was Clara, didn't laugh. She stepped forward, set down the tray, and reached for the paper. Her fingers shook, not from fear, but from something deeper, a quiet storm that had lived within her for years. Clara's life had never been easy. She was the daughter of immigrants, raised in the crowded back streets of a city that never seemed to make room for people like her. Her mother scrubbed hospital floors while her father taught her words from every language he could find: French, Mandarin, Arabic, believing knowledge was the one thing no one could take away. She'd been a scholarship student once, top of her class in linguistics, until her father's heart attack forced her to leave school and take care of her younger siblings. That's how she ended up here, cleaning offices for people who didn't know her story. Now, standing in front of Gregory Langston, she looked at the document. The letters were familiar, inked in Mandarin, the same language her father had taught her to read when she was 8. The same one that had comforted her on nights she studied by candlelight, whispering translations under her breath while he rested beside her. The room waited for her to stumble. Gregory leaned forward, amused, but Clara didn't stumble. She read softly at first, then louder, her voice steady and calm. As the words rolled off her tongue, the laughter faded. The document was no simple memo. It was a financial agreement, revealing that Gregory's company had been underpaying foreign contractors by nearly half their promised wages. Each sentence, she translated, drew sharper gasps from the table. The time she reached the final line, silence filled the room like a storm waiting to break. Clara set the paper down gently. Her eyes met Gregory's unflinching. "You said your salary," she said quietly. "Now will you honor your word?" The executives exchanged glances. The once confident millionaire sat motionless, his face pale. His own arrogance had written the check his pride couldn't cash. For the first time, Gregory Langston had no words. The head of human resources, a woman who had watched the exchange in silence, spoke up softly. "Clara," she said, "I think we need to have a conversation." In private, within a week the company announced a public apology, reinstated fair wages for its overseas employees, and offered Clara a full scholarship to finish her studies, along with a consulting position in their international division. When reporters asked her how she felt about the incident, Clara only smiled and said, "Respect doesn't come from money. It comes from character." And when someone asked if she'd really accepted the millionaire's salary, she replied, "No, I just took back what should never have been stolen from me or from anyone." Months later, a framed letter arrived at her apartment. A formal apology signed by Gregory himself. At the bottom, he'd written, "You translated more than words that day." You translated humility. Standing by her window, watching the city lights flicker, Clara whispered to herself, "Some lessons money can't teach." Her story spread online, shared by people who saw in her not just a maid, but a mirror. A reminder that silent strength speaks louder than any insult. Sometimes the world underestimates quiet people, the ones who serve, clean, translate, and stand in the background. But when the truth finally speaks through them, it can humble the proud and heal the broken. Where are you watching from? Share your thoughts below. And remember, true respect is earned not by power, but by grace. Subscribe for more stories that honor the unseen heroes among us.